Welcome back, LearnWake members. This is Brandon Judd answering a video analysis request uploaded by Jose Castillo. And this is on a heel side, front side 540 and a Hoochie Glide Attempt. So in the description here, it says my heel side, front side threes are very consistent. So I figured on going for a 5, any pointers. And we're going to hit that one first before we hop into the Hoochie Glide section. So your 360s, if they're really consistent, this looks really, really good right now. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The only thing you really need to adjust is your pitching over, and I'll explain that here in a second. So if you look at the angle that your axis is on right now, it's kind of tilted a little bit to the right towards your takeoff side. So if I was to take this body position, this angle, and I was to just copy and paste you onto the landing spot of the wake, it would put you on your heels, which would make you slip out, which is what happens. So if we take a peek at this and watch how it finishes, you'll see you're angled at that same kind of toward your takeoff side landing, or toward your takeoff side angle that you're leaning on, which puts you on your heels and causes you to kind of land over your butt. Now this is super normal for 360s that are taken to 540s for your first few times. I did it, almost everybody does it their first few tries. The reason why is because you don't have to change that pitching over of your axis. If you were to land just at 360, you'd land kind of over the balls of your feet, which would be fine. And so what we want to get you to do is we want you to learn how to pitch over. So let me show you a few examples here. This is a melon grab, heel side, front side 540 with Bob Sitchell. And I'll have you watch how he pitches over here. It's very subtle. So he'll take off, grab the board, and you can see already at his handle pass position, see how he's pretty vertical. His axis is straight up and down and not really tilted so much. And then as soon as he spots the wake, watch what happens. See how as soon as he sees his landing, he really brings his chest around almost toward the boat. And this is the big difference. This is the variance from the 360, is he'll come back around and really take his chest and sort of dive his chest over his landing to help him get over his toes. And you'll see as he lands, he's landing just slightly toe heavy, and then when he fully edges away, he ends up leaning pretty good over his toes. And so let's watch that again a little bit slower. So I want you to pay attention to right at the handle pass, right when he gets cuffed. He pitches over. So you'll see it there, and then he sort of pitches over onto his toes right there. And that's a deviance from the 360. Your 360 doesn't feel like that at the handle pass. So I want to show you the part of this trick that is what you need to focus on, which is the toe side backside 360 portion. So I'm going to pause something here really quick. I'm going to go from both of these just so you can see the connection. We're going to go right to the handle pass. So here's a heel side front side 540, and we're going to pause it right at the handle pass on both of these. Let me go to the slow-mo version for you here real quick. Toe side backside. Alright, so if you look at both of these, they're pretty similar in position, in just about everything. He's a little bit more on axis here because you kind of need that for toe side backside spin. But you'll notice as soon as I hit play here, it's going to finish identically to the toe side backside 360. So watch it here. Remember, this is the 540. Comes around and lands, and this is the 360. Comes around and lands. It's the same thing. So what I want you to do in practice for this, because really all you have to do is pitch over, and right now what you're doing looks like as soon as you get that, these will be really consistent for you all day long. So I wouldn't stress. So what I want you to do is, it's a really weird thing, but it will help make it make sense. So I want you to try this on one wake and then do it in the ollie version as well. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get cuffed, and I want you to edge toe side outside the wakes, like you would on your landing side for the 540. So I want you to get cuffed there, and then that's going to put you in this switch toe side cuffed position. And from there, let me get to the right spot on this video. Alright, so this is where you're going to be. You're going to be edging out on your toes, and you're going to be cuffed. And I want you to do a couple ollies and just bounce, get comfortable cuffed. And then do a few ollies, and once you get that real comfy, then I want you to do an ollie toe side backside 360, just like this. Alright, so toe side backside 360, and you'll see on there I really pitch over onto my toes. You can see I'm leaning, edging on my toe side. That drill is what I want you to do. If we can get to it again. That drill is what I want you to do. And I want you to, on the landing of your 540, I want you to think about that as soon as you get the handle. If you can edge up the wake and do a one wake version of that, cuffed, great. But it's really going to help you pitch over. You're really going to dive your chest toward the boat, toward your landing side, and that'll solve it. So hopefully I didn't beat that one up too much, but I really think you're really close here, and you'll have that in no time. So let's move on to your Hoochie Glide real quick. So your Hoochie Glide here, you said you were feeling confident with your Rayleighs, you're not stargazing anymore, so you went for a Hoochie Glide, which didn't work out. So let's watch that here, and let's look at what happens. When I took a look at this earlier, I noticed one thing as you edge in. You edge in very timidly. It's almost as if you're about to try something new for the first time. You really just need to come in more like you would normally on a Rayleigh, because this is just very timid. It's like you're not sure if it's going to work out. And then as you go up the wake, it kind of has a glitch there for some reason. It likes to skip. But as you go up the wake, you don't really load the line too hard, and then you kind of start to dive forward toward the grab a little early. And I want you to watch the rope here, the line tension. So you'll see there's kind of a bend in it. It's kind of slack. You'll see that coming up, and you'll see it wobble around. And that lack of line tension makes you just kind of flop around in the air. You really need your line tension for this trick. So those are the two fixes I'd do for this. The one thing is edge in a little harder and load up the line a little more, so you have a little more pop, a little more swing out to get your lower body out from under you, and then keep that line tension high. So that loading it a little harder at the wake is going to help you do that. And then I wouldn't go for the grab quite so early with your upper body. You really kind of dive forward, which also kills your line tension. So just be patient through the wake and then go for the grab. And that's what kind of just strings you out at the end. It really wasn't that bad to begin with. So I want to go over a couple different Hoochie Glides, and I just want to show you the difference. And right here I want you to pay attention to how hard he edges in. So JB really cranks into this one and stands tall, pushes real hard, and then starts going for the grab and kind of swings his heels into his hand at this point. And again, it's a bit stargazed, but a lot of these tend to be. Regardless, you'll notice he gets the grab kind of late in the trick. Some riders get it a little earlier than others, and you don't want to go to full extension. You want to get it right before that, but you don't need to dive forward with your chest like you had been on yours. So here's another example of the Hoochie Glide, and I want you to pay attention to how this rider is able to take his hand and his heels and kind of bring them together after he stands tall. So he's nice and patient. So he'll edge all the way through the wake. Look at that really good tall position. He's not really diving forward yet. He's still real strong. You can see how deep his board was in the wake. And then his heels and his hand come together to make that all happen. So I want you to, when you're practicing this, I want you to take the time to practice this in two parts. All right. So here's my two-part drill for your Hoochie Glide, because you're already good at doing Rayleigh. So the first thing I want you to do, there's two parts to this trick. The first part is it's a one-handed Rayleigh. So I want you to be able to do a Rayleigh with your front hand off of the handle. That will allow you to really control the rope. It won't force you like this. Look at your arm. See how your arm's really like pulling it in? If you pull in like that, as you're going into the air, you're going to kill all your line tension and it's going to string you out like it did earlier. So so you want to practice just doing a normal Rayleigh and just let go with your front hand, and you don't even have to do it right away. You can do a Rayleigh and then at the peak of your Rayleigh just let go with your front hand, wave to the boat, put your hand back on, and then eventually do it earlier and earlier in the trick so that you gain more and more control. Once you've got that down and you can take your hand fully off of the handle once you take off the wake and you're good to go there, then you can start bringing your heel to your hand when you go for the board. So try those in 2 steps, and then they won't be quite so hard to swallow, and it'll be a lot easier to coordinate. And that's about it. So thanks again for submitting your video analysis request here, and if you have any questions, you can hit us up in the comment section below, or you can correct it on the water and submit another analysis request. Thanks again.